Hey, what's up? It's Pat here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the top 5 marketing trends that are coming up. Now, these aren't predictions. These are things that are already happening or are about to kick off, and I don't want you to be left behind. So make sure you watch this all the way through. Why? Well, here's the thing. You don't need to do all of these things. In fact, I don't recommend you do all of these things. I think if you just pick one of these things and go all in on it, you're going to see some great results to help you start or grow the brand that you have, to build a bigger audience, and to generate more revenue with your business. So that's what this is about. My name is Pat Flynn. I've been an entrepreneur for 13 years now, and together, let's go dive into these trends. Now, people like Joe Rogan with the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, he's had it on YouTube for a while, recently shifted over to Spotify, and then people freaked out because they really wanted it back on YouTube. You can still find his clips, but guess what? Outside of Joe Rogan now, more and more people are coming onto this bandwagon of using YouTube for podcasting. We have big influencers like MKBHD and his show Waveform, Peter McKinnon and his podcast with Maddie on his channel. My favorite to watch is Colin and Samir, who break down a lot of influencers and sort of what they do to grow big. We're seeing all of these YouTubers now do audio interviews, but obviously they have the camera on because that's what they're good at, and they're using YouTube to expand their brand there. But here's the other thing. There are audio podcasts now who are deciding to turn on the camera. They weren't on YouTube before. They were just on Apple and Spotify and whatnot. And they're turning on the cameras and turning those interviews now into video content here on this platform. Some are creating long form episodes and they're putting it into a separate channel. Others are taking snippets of those conversations and putting them on YouTube and using search to grow and expand their brand. And here's the thing, more podcasters and non-podcasters are going to start doing this now. In fact, I am one of them. This year, I'm going to be turning on the camera for my normally audio-only show, and I'm going to be recording these interviews with video. Per recommendations from several other people, I'm going to take that long episode and pop it into its own YouTube channel that long-form content can live. And then, like many others, I'm going to be chopping it up and taking snippets from those longer-form episodes and then popping them on my normal YouTube channels. I thought this was a ridiculous idea at first, taking an audio show and putting it onto YouTube. Like, who would want to watch people just talk for that long? Yes, it makes sense on Joe Rogan because it's Joe Rogan and, other people. Lewis Howes, he has people who are celebrities on his show. So, of course, his content's going to get watched a lot. But what about for the regular person? What about somebody like me? Now, what I've come to realize is that no, this separate YouTube channel that I'm going to be creating for this podcast is not going to grow huge, but there's going to be people in my brand who are going to love to watch it, who actually cannot wait to watch it because they're fans of the brand and of myself. And those are the people who are now going to grow an even stronger bond with the brand because of the video aspect of it. And of course, as a benefit, it might also find new people through the algorithm as well. YouTube for podcasting, going to be huge this year. Now, private niche communities are nothing new. In fact, if you've been on Facebook ever and have discovered Facebook groups, you're going to know that there are hardly, great communities that are just very general, like here's a health community and here's a food community. No, the great communities are the ones that are niched down, like an Indian food community or perhaps a marathon runners for people over 50 community. Those are the places where people can find others like them, and that creates a really amazing feeling because you feel like you've connected with somebody who's just like you on the other side of the world. But people are starting to get tired of Facebook and LinkedIn and all these other places that are controlled by some bigger sort of conglomerate that might one day just change everything, right? We've seen Facebook pages get dramatically bombarded one day because Facebook was just like, well, we're going to change our mind about it. And they might change their mind about Facebook groups too. So what's happening is a lot of people are now building private niche communities that they control that are on their own platform or a platform that they use that they essentially can control. For example, I use a product for my community at SPI Pro, which is separate than Facebook. It's separate than LinkedIn. It's its own community that I control and my team and I kind of house through a product called Circle, circle.so. Full disclosure, I'm both an affiliate and an advisor for that company, which means I own shares of that company. So just keep that in mind. Some other great solutions out there as well. But I prefer Circle because it's sort of like a perfect marriage between Facebook groups and Slack and how easy they both are to use all in one spot. And the cool thing is, it's people who are outside of these social media platforms now without distractions, without notifications from something else that happened. They can just know that in these communities, they are going to find people that are just like them, and we're going to take care of them. And it's just been such an amazing experience. And more people are doing this. How do I know? Because Circle recently got funded. They just did another round, and it was huge. There are people who are now invested and really throwing their money into the space of privately held communities on platforms like Circle. Our community at SPI Pro has been amazing. If you want to check it out, smartpassiveincome.com/pro. And what's cool is people there know that they're finding people just like them. And if you can create some valuable content, sure, people will come for the content, but they'll often find somebody like them and stay for the community. They come for the content, they stay for the community. Now, virtual summits aren't anything new. A virtual summit is sort of like an event, but in an online fashion, right? Outside of a community, it is a event that happens at a specific time for a certain number of hours and or a certain number of days. And oftentimes there's multiple speakers who come by, and it's sort of like an in-person event, but held virtually, obviously. Why might this be a trend now, even though this has been around for a while? Well, we're still in the pandemic, and it's getting very, very hard for people to find their communities and educate themselves and learn in those sort of situations like we were used to at in-person events in this sort of environment that we're in right now. So virtual summits are increasing in numbers. We ran our first one last year called Audience Driven, and it was just such a tremendous event. And it was a free event, sort of a lead gen event for us to bring new emails in and to connect with more people and show them what we have. But I know a lot of people who are creating paid virtual events as well. Some of them to replace their in-person events that they did, and others to because there's holes there and people are missing out on meeting with each other and learning from the communities. They're creating these virtual summits and stepping up to bring their network in and create a massive multi-day event to just provide a ton of value and sell product even. And the fact that there are even new platforms coming out to help you manage these things, I recommend you check out Hey Summit. Full disclosure, advisor for the company for that as well. But I wouldn't be if I didn't know that this was going to do well and take off. And guess what? It has. And more people are creating virtual summits. And so if you have a community and or a network that can kind of put together a list of speakers and events and really great content in a virtual event-like fashion over a single day or maybe multiple days, spread it out a little bit, you can create something amazing for the entire community, bring more eyeballs and people your way, grow your list, and even make more sales down the road too. All right, now TikTok. Let's talk about TikTok. TikTok is not just a platform for people dancing anymore, right? Oh, what? Subscribe to my video. This is great because not everybody can dance or at least dance very well. The platform has grown up since its Musical.ly days. That's what it was previously known as. And now many businesses, several businesses are flocking to TikTok for a couple of reasons. Number one, the algorithm. The algorithm is just tremendous for finding new people. It's just something that you could create a video and see millions of views out of nowhere. It's unlike even YouTube sometimes. And I don't know if you recently heard, but Google was recently overtaken by TikTok for the number one most visited website in the world. Yeah, it's overtaken Google. And where there is traffic, oftentimes that is a good spot to get in front of that traffic with your business. Now, advertising on TikTok is one thing, but also just creating organic content to entertain and to provide value and to bring emotion and story and highlight your success stories that you're creating for your audience. These are all great things you can do on TikTok. Another sign is that we're seeing now influencers, not just TikTok influencers and helping people create TikToks, but people who are stepping up to help businesses create TikToks and succeed. A good friend of mine, Kenya Kelly, is one of those people. And when we start to see people step up and start teaching this kind of stuff, that's how you know that this is something that's starting to trend, if not trending already, and it is. I highly recommend you check out Kenya if you are looking for advice on how to use TikTok specifically for business. I'll put a link in the description below for a video where she actually was one of our speakers at Audience Driven, one of our virtual summits last year, and she talked about exactly that. So you can check it out and get some wise words from her. But we're close to that point now where if you're a business and you're not on TikTok, you may miss out. And you might be surprised at the different kinds of demographics and the different kinds of people you could reach on this platform now. It's not all teenagers anymore. Now, what's interesting about all these trends, right? It's except for TikTok, these are things that have been around for a very long time. And they're just getting used in a different way, or there's a rush of people now starting to use this based on the environment that we're in. And this next trend is no different than that. This is text message marketing. Now, whenever I hear that phrase, right, I always get a little icky because I've been on the receiving end of some not so great text message marketing campaigns. Like, I like the texts I get from my dry cleaners because I get a coupon and that is valuable. But I've subscribed to text messages from people before where I just literally get bombarded with offer after offer after offer. And I'm like, dude, you're blowing up my phone, and that's rude. But with tools like Community now, people are starting to see text messaging isn't just for making sales and providing coupon codes anymore. People are using text messages now to more directly connect and actually have interactions with people and to personalize those interactions a lot more. In fact, I recently started using community myself for my channel over at Deep Pocket Monster, and I've been experimenting with a certain set of members of that channel who know I'm experimenting with this, and they've all been blown away so far being able to converse with me on their phone, right? And there's a reason why people are doing this, because it has a 98% open rate. With email becoming more and more competitive and harder to get those open rates up, text messaging is the next frontier, in my opinion, if it is used correctly. I think text messaging should be used to build your community and to build connection. Thus, then, building a better connection with your brand. And then when you come out with a piece of content elsewhere, or when you do send an email, people are going to be more likely to open it. I would use the text messaging systems to sell very sparingly, or for, early drops, or for very special VIP kind of situations. However, I'm just getting started with this myself, and I'm really excited about what's coming. And this is more and more people are getting in on it as well. So I recommend you check it out. Link in the description below. And I'm going to be sharing more about the results of all of these things. Like I said, I don't just walk the walk here. I don't just talk the talk here. I walk the walk as well. I actually do these things. So I recommend that you subscribe to the channel, because I'll be talking about the results of these things and helping you out with your own marketing, your branding, your content creation, your sales. This is why I'm here. I appreciate you for watching this video. Thank you so much. And click on this video right here after you subscribe, because this is the best recommended video for you that YouTube is telling you to watch right now. It must be for a reason. So click on it right now, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.